Let's move things along. This is a very good fight, at least, for that same Saturday night, the 26th of November. We will get through this, and then we'll bring the stream to an end. But Jose Zepeda versus Regis Prograis, two great fighters. Alex, we'll throw it to you first here. Give us your thoughts on this fight.
Two good fighters, I would say.
Yeah.
If anyone knows, has talked to me, I'm not as invested in saying what great the division 140 is. I really think it's either you're too small for 147, or just not skilled enough. And the same thing for 135. Can't make the weight or just not skilled enough. Honestly, right. I think it's a stomping ground. Yeah. Regis. I mean, if you look at him, he has the body type of a 135 pounder, but just can't. Well, the size, I mean, but just cannot make the weight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, these are two guys. They're seasoned. They've put in great efforts in fights. Zepeda's been competitive in every fight he's been in. Prograis, his one loss is to the 140 top fighter, Josh Taylor. And some people believe if that took place in the U.S., that decision would have went Prograis' way.
I had him.
So yeah, man,
I had him winning.
You had Prograis winning?
Yeah, just think.
I had the opposite. I had Taylor winning.
Yeah, man. Maybe we can rewatch one of those. Rewatch that fight.
Yeah, that's good.
I only caught the middle of.
Yeah. We'll go for that at some point. We'll see.
Well, 140, man. It's just a lot of good guys. I mean, it is a cluster of good guys. I mean, Montana Love is a name thrown in there, and he's probably the 20th, the 15th best guy. So that just shows you there's quality there. So this is a great quality matchup. It's going to be on pay-per-view here in the U.S. I don't know how it's going to be over there for you across the pond. And I got to watch more Prograis. I've only seen him I've only actually been watching him since the Josh Taylor fight.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really been in there guys that are supposed to beat him. Zepeda, I've seen him in a few fights. And Zepeda is a guy that can do a lot of things pretty well, but nothing great. So I'm hoping it's a nice competitive fight and something that we will enjoy watching.
Yeah, definitely. I think Prograis seems to have almost dropped off a cliff really since that Taylor fight. Obviously, we had the pandemic issues and stuff, so that could be a reason. But didn't they have like contract issues or TV channel issues at one point? So he just didn't fight for ages. I can't quite remember.
He was a free agent. And he was basically like a traveling man, just going to different networks, trying to get fights. And now he signed with Pro Bellum.
Yes.
And, there's a lot of issues dealing with Pro Bellum right now, especially when you have to cross paths with a top rank of PBC.
Yeah. Go on, Josh, give us your thoughts on this one, and then we can close out.
Yeah, of course, I like both guys. I've had the luxury of actually seeing Regis Prograis live in New Orleans in one of the sort of big or major fights that took place in New Orleans in recent years, and I think he's the real deal. He should have, I think, more eyes on him, but maybe that's more so tied to the avenues that he's taken promotionally. He's definitely not one to be singularly tied to a promotion in the way that some of these PBC fighters are. He seems to be sort of a nomad in that sense. He's willing to go where the fights is or where the fights are, and I like that about him. And so a part of me just feels like this fight should have a bit more fanfare. Now that could be summed up to Marv Nation is not a promotional name that really rings bells in the sport of boxing. Certainly not as it relates to me really having any knowledge of him, and that kind of adds to it. But I think this is a very good fight of two legitimate top 10 140 pounders. It's a tough one to call because stylistically they're so different. You're going to see the counter punching of Jose Zepeda that will be the thing that's probably elevates him. Regis Prograis, he's one of those fighters. He's fairly slick. He's come forward. He's willing to throw punches in exchange on the inside. He's just a crafty guy overall. I think if you factor that in, I do think that Regis Prograis just has a slight bit more to offer from sort of that craftiness that boxing sort of just having a few more wrinkles to his game, I would say, as far as what he's able to do offensively. And Zepeda, I think that a lot of what he's going to, or where he's going to find success is his ability to be able to counter Prograis on offense, because Prograis is going to be a willing and able fighter who's going to come forward and he's going to throw the punches. So if Zepeda is able to sort of figure out how to actually counter him and use that to his advantage, to his utmost advantage, because I think it's going to take a full 12 rounds of consistent activity to be able to defeat Prograis. If he's able to do that and he's shown that he can dig deep, then I think he will have success. But for my money, I would lean towards Regis Prograis, as I mentioned, because I think he's a bit of a craftier fighter than probably some may know, who haven't seen a ton of him, and he can really mix it up offensively, and he has a bit more power than probably what meets the eye. So I would give him the slight edge, but I do think it's very much a toss-up fight. In terms of you can't go wrong either way, and each of them have their advantages. But I certainly, just from what I've seen from each of them, I give the slight edge to Prograis, and I know that he's hungry and he's looking for a fight like this, and he's willing, seemingly, to take on anyone. And hey, this is an opportunity for him to shine again with whatever stage this provides.
Yeah, nice. I don't know. I'm really intrigued into looking at the betting odds for this one, actually, because it will be quite close, and I'm half edging towards the Zepeda, to be honest. I don't know. I like him. He's a nice boxer to watch. That makes sense. Like, the technique is good. He's fun to watch. He lost to Terry Flanagan a few years ago because of the shoulder injury, I think it was.
Yeah, he was working on.
Yeah. But he's bounced back and he's right back up there. He's had some pretty decent wins, and I was going to say maybe with Prograis' inactivity, but I mean Zepeda only had 2 fights last year, once against Henry Lundy, which I guess was a bit of a stopover. But he's got the win against Baranchik, which is decent. Prograis was good, and Josie Vargas not too bad. So he's had a nice run of form. Whereas I don't know, I feel like Prograis, like I said earlier, just for me, he doesn't seem to have momentum on his side. But if he's hungry, like Josh has just alluded to, he probably fights at the level of his opponent, possibly. And this is a fight that he needs to be up for if he wants to win it. So definitely intriguing. One that could go either way. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Prograis is the favorite. He's like a -270, 250 I've seen.
Okay.